longer time. It is there
Ma'am, we
only
are
the,
unable to download also, ma'am.
you are able to download, right?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
You are not able
Ma'am,
to
instead,
download.
It's not getting downloaded.
Sorry, okay, then what I will do is today I will try to download and I will give a YouTube link. Okay. I'll put in my
okay, ma'am.
YouTube channel and then I will give the YouTube link. Whenever you want, you can go and check it. Okay.
Ma'am, can you do for the previous two videos also?
Yeah, yeah. I will do for all the videos. I'll try to do. I don't know how many videos are available right now, but if everything is available, whatever is available, I will try to upload under
Ma'am,
the
at
same.
least, ma'am, at least do for the incidents one only, model number 6.
Sure, sure.
Ma'am, incidents is not available on Teams, I guess. I was not able to see it at least.
Okay, I will check. I will check. I will check. If it is available, I will upload. If it is not available, what to do? Okay. Anyhow, I have given my PPT for you for studies. Okay. So we will start. We will start with module number 8, vulnerability as analysis and penetration testing. Okay. So these are the content of the module. Only 2 hours, exactly 2 hours today and tomorrow. We are completing this module. Okay. So like this vulnerability assessment, what does it mean actually? We ourselves are assessing. Okay. We ourselves are assessing whether our system is having any problem, whether there is any holes in the sense flaws in the system or in the network or in any other security resources or in any asset. Is there any flaw so that the attacker will come and attack? So that is the job we are doing as the incident response team. Okay. So like that is what the vulnerability assessment is. So before ever there is a security breaches. Okay, the security before ever an attacker is coming to attack your system, you yourself are checking whether we have completed, whether everything is perfect and I'm running everything in perfect manner. So that is what a vulnerability assessment is. Okay. So basically this vulnerability assessment, no, like will be of, after completing the vulnerability assessment, you'll be categorizing this in 3 things: high, medium and low risk. Okay. You'll be categorizing everything in terms of risk only. Risk may be high risk, medium risk and low risk only. Okay. That, like that only you will be categorizing. Okay. So this vulnerability assessment is important. Why it is important? Because it's a proactive measure. Okay. To understand whether your organization information security is being assured or not. So this is very important. It's a proactive measure. Okay. So once you complete this particular assessment, you can very well say you are not having any problematic. If you are not completing this assessment, then your organization may be having any problematic and you did not know when the attack will come and whether attack has happened or not. Okay. Sometimes, no, like if you are able to check the vulnerability assessment, you will at least come to an idea like how the attack will happen. If the attack happens, how can I identify that? How can I find that whether it is attack or not? And if it is after attack, at least I will know some strategy I will formulate whether to how to overcome, how to mitigate all these attack. Okay. So like for all these things, you want to do vulnerability assessment. Okay. So like cert is nothing but it's an or cert slash CC is an organization for performing the vulnerability assessment. Okay. So they have developed, they are telling like 99% of all the vulnerability assessment is only due to the known vulnerabilities, not in unknown vulnerabilities. In the sense, like whenever any vulnerability is happening in any organization, that will be updated in the common vulnerability and exposure manual catalog. We have already seen what is that manual, which is going to is a compilation of all the vulnerabilities, whatever has happened throughout the complete thing, complete world. this catalog will be having everything. Okay, so like what you can do is, so accordingly what they are telling is this CERT is nothing but a computer emergency response team. Okay, CERT stands for computer emergency response team. So what they are telling is like there is some set of catalog in which all the possible vulnerabilities are measured, and your organization will be mostly having will be attacked only by these are the vulnerabilities. So it is always better, once we know all the vulnerabilities, we can assess our own organization system to understand whether vulnerabilities is available or not, so that we are already having some strategies to work whenever there is an attack. Okay, so this is the reason why vulnerability assessment is a must for any organization. So these vulnerabilities are classified according to these 9 different types are given, but exactly not 9 different types. There are so many other types also, but just an understanding. Okay, so first is misconfiguration. Out of that, first vulnerability may be because of what? Maybe because of misconfiguration. So what do I mean by misconfiguration? In the sense, whenever I am creating a software and whenever I am creating an application, and I want to create my own web page, and I want to post my web page in the www. Okay, what I have to ensure? I have to ensure that whether my security everything is properly, framework is properly done. Otherwise, no, what will happen? Somebody, the attacker will use my website to attack other systems. Okay, so so this is related to when I am doing with some web application. When I am configuring some OS, operating system, in my computer, under that case also, I have to understand all my configuration settings, all my security settings, everything in my OS is proper or not. Okay, so this is what misconfiguration is. If you are missing the configuration settings properly, you will also understand configuration settings in another module. So I will detailedly tell you what are the configuration settings available. But now you please understand only very simple thing. You need some configuration settings to ensure the security. It may be when you are doing some application for the website, or when you are running some application in a host, independent host. It may need not be even connected to the network. It is an independent host only. So for that OS application, or in some other network firewalls configuration, in intrusion reduction system. See, we are configuring the firewall to allow certain packet, not allow certain packet. Okay, but if this configuration itself is a flaw, then what will happen? That will not be considered at all, and it will be trying to allow all the other unwanted packets also. So this is what we call it as a configuration setting. So if there is any misconfiguration, under that case, that will be a point for an attacker to compromise the system. It may be a system, it may be a network, or it may be any other resources present in the network like firewalls, intrusion detection, or honeypot, or anything. Okay, so if there is a misconfiguration, then it is the first point that the attacker will be entering into the system partially, or it may be they will be totally compromising the system. Okay, so these attacker will be finding this misconfiguration through unauthorized access. That is the main thing. Misconfiguration vulnerability is because of the unauthorized access only. So they did not know what is a password, they did not know what is a username, but they are doing some brute force as an attack or something, and they are trying to find, and they are able to access the system. Okay, so because of that, we are having misconfiguration. They will find a misconfiguration in the system only through unauthorized access to the default account, or unused web pages, or unpatched flaws, unprotected files and directories. So you see this fifth point, attacker find these misconfiguration through unauthorized access to default accounts, unused web pages, unpatched flaws, unprotected files and directories, and more. Okay, so like what they will do after finding, after checking there is a misconfiguration, what they will do, they are compromising the system, and after compromising, they are ultimately stealing the data over time, slowly or at the same time. Okay, so this is the first vulnerability. Misconfiguration will lead to vulnerability. Okay, and also second vulnerability is because of the default installation. Whenever we are downloading something and installing something in our system, what we will do, we will always say yes, 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 next, next, next. Defaultly, we will say yes, okay, okay, and we will go to the next step, and we will be finishing the installation. Okay, this is what will happen every time. Okay, because always default installation is will give us very strong, thoroughly tested pieces of softwares only. Okay, so only whenever a software we are purchasing, we know this will be having a very good, strong uh, method of installation. So we will not take any other choice. Okay, we will be always saying okay for all the steps. Okay, that is what we call it as a default installation. Okay, but this default installation is very good provided if we are having a software which has got so many tested already, so many bugs they have identified and they have fixed all the bugs and everything. It means that this particular software has got lot of experience, and we are going with the default installation is okay. Whereas nowadays it's not only a single software. Even we are doing so many tools. We are downloading for every week. We are downloading some tool and we are working on new tools. Okay, so we did not know whether everything is tested properly. Everything, all the bugs are fixed properly. Everything is being refined correctly. Okay, so what will happen is sometimes if the programmer is not a very good programmer, those who have written the program for the software, if the programmer or the developers are not very good at programming stage, or they themselves, if I am writing an application, I did not know what are the security breaches that may occur or how the attackers will, I did not know the knowledge of the attackers, then I am writing some program, I am giving to you and you are installing that program. It will be creating an open space for the attacker to come and enter into the system. Okay, so that is the problem nowadays. Okay, so this default installation, if it is a thoroughly tested pieces of the software, and it's all completely refined by fixing so many bugs and everything, then you can go for default installation. Otherwise, this default installation itself is creating a vulnerability. That is the second thing. Okay. Third thing is buffer overflow. Like already we have studied buffer overflow attack in the module number 1. Okay. So what is this buffer overflow? Whenever we are writing some program, each and every program, it will go to the next instruction, it will be executed like that. So each and every instruction will be written, instruction, it may be instruction or it may be data. Everything will be limited to certain characters because everything will be initially stored in the temporary buffers only. Okay, but when you are trying to write, purposely you are trying to write a program which the buffer cannot hold. Okay, the size of the buffer may be, say for example, 4 bytes, 8 bytes or 12 bytes, something like that. But you are purposely, the attacker is purposely writing a program or a code which is going to overflow the buffer. If my buffer capacity is only 8 bytes, but this attacker is purposely writing 12 bytes, what will happen? First 8 bytes will be sitting in my first buffer and it will try to sit in the consecutive next buffer, neighbor buffer. Other 4 bytes, it will try to go to the next buffer. This next buffer already may be having some valid data. Okay, now this attacker is introducing extra bytes so that it is not only occupying my first buffer, it is also occupying the second second space. So already there is some data which is a legal data or which is a wanted data, or it may be some system configuration also. So it may crack the system configuration sometime. Okay, so this buffer overflow will lead to even the crashing of the system, crashing of the server, anything may happen because of the buffer overflow. Okay, so this is one more vulnerability. So whenever we are writing a system, space, we have to give enough buffer, temporary buffer space should be very large. Accordingly only, we have to define, if you are creating a single tool, you have to define the temporary buffer and temporary register, everything with a nominal space. Okay. Otherwise, you have to, when you are writing, like if some attacker is trying to attack, need not be attacker. I don't know any programming knowledge, or I'm not having any programming knowledge, but I'm trying to write some program which will make the buffer overflow take place. Under that case, what you have to do as a programmer, good programmer, if this flaw is coming, you have to give some security measures to overcome. Either you should not take that particular data in for executing, or you have to break the data accordingly so that the buffer is able to save, so that you are saving only the data only in the unused buffer, something like that. So some strong programming knowledge is required for an IT professionals whenever they are creating a new tool, new application that has to be installed in web or anything. Okay. So this is the third attack that may happen. Next is unpatched servers. Okay. Patch is nothing but what to say, like if you go through the highways, sometimes you will see there is a small dig take place, and they'll be just doing the patchwork. They will not be completely entirely putting the road. Okay. Instead, what they will do, just a compromise. They will just do some patching work. Okay. That is what a patching here also. In the software, if there is any flaw in the software, okay, we have to update the software. Update in the sense, we have to patch it. We have to write another software, and we have to map or patch. We have to overcome that particular flaws in the particular software. Okay. So if you are having any server, unpatched server, that is the server is not at all checked for anything, or the server is having some issues, you are not trying to fix up the issues, or if you are not at all running the vulnerability of the server, under that case, there is a possibility that the server will be the server can be easily exploited by the attackers. Okay, so this is what we call it as an unpatched server. So this patch is nothing but a piece of program, piece of software designed to update a computer program or its supporting data, or to fix or improve it. Okay, so whenever you are purchasing any antivirus software, also they will say you will get a pop-up. Then and there you will get a pop. Antivirus is updated. You want to update your system. It will be asking you questions. Okay. So because of some patches, they have already identified some vulnerability. They want to introduce this patch into your antivirus software. You have already purchased the antivirus software. So you need not go for a very new antivirus software. Okay. Instead what you can do? You can update the new version then and there. So that like now your antivirus software will know what are the other viruses. Okay. So that is the unpatched server vulnerability because of the unpatched server. Similarly, vulnerabilities will occur because of the default password. When you are purchasing a system, they will be giving you a default password, admin and admin. It is your duty to change the password. If you are not changing the password, under that case, your friend will come and try to access your system. The same thing will happen in database. The same thing will happen in web server or anything. So it is a job of the system administrator who is handling the database or who is handling the web server to change the password. If they are not changing the default password, under that case, it will be given to an unauthorized access. Okay. So this is one another vulnerability. Okay. So these are some of the method how vulnerability is happening. So you should be having the knowledge when you are doing a vulnerability assessment. So you have to come across all these things. So you have to first check whether is there any misconfiguration in my web server, in my database server, in my application, whether all my security configuration is perfect. That you have to check. Then you have to check whether I am using some software which is updated software, and you have to check all the settings of all the new installation, software installation. And also you should know the knowledge of the buffer overflow attack may happen, and you have to accordingly you have to prepare some strategies if it is coming, how to overcome. Like that, you have to then and there patch the server. Then and there, you have to change the password, and ensure that is a very strong password. So these are all the assessment stages. So what you will do is, as a vulnerability assessment person, what I will do is, when monthly once or once in 3 months, usually vulnerability assessment is done once in 3 months for any organization. Once in 3 months, there is a team who will be doing only vulnerability assessment. So they will be checking for all these known vulnerabilities. These are all the known vulnerabilities. Okay. Now, next topic is types of vulnerability assessment. How are we classifying the types of vulnerability assessment depending upon how the assessment is done? Okay, so there are at least 6 to 8 types, I think. First is passive assessment. Passive assessment in the sense you are doing assessment without disturbing anything in the network, any host in the network connected to the network. Okay, so what ultimately you are doing is you are just only sniffing the network traffic, that is understanding how the packets are flowing from one point to another point, where all the packets are coming, where the packets are doing. So that is what you are doing. Okay, so you are not at all disturbing the ongoing job. You are only understanding what is there in the network, what are just only looking into whether the class is going on. If somebody want to access my class, what they will do, they will not disturb my class. They will be just only checking whether this professor is taking the class in this respective time. So they will be just seeing, listening to what is happening in our classroom. Okay, that is what the passive assessment is, just to sniff the network traffic to find out any system, what are the system connected, what are the services running on, how the application is running on, what are the packets, and whether any vulnerability is present or not. That is passive assessment. I forgot to write active assessment. Active assessment is something disturbing completely. Stop everything. Okay, and ask. That person is coming to our class and he is just stopping me. They are asking you questions so that they will identify whether I have taught all these syllabus, I have covered my syllabus or not. That is active assessment. Okay, so active assessment is nothing but that will be scanning the network using some network scanner, and it will find whether the host, the services, vulnerabilities, everything is there or not. That is active assessment. I forgot to write active assessment here. Okay. Next is host-based assessment. So when we are talking on passive and active assessment, we are talking on the network point of view and also system point of view. Whereas when we are talking on host-based assessment, it is only for an independent computer or independent resource. Only one host will be present. Okay. So in this host-based assessment is nothing but it's something like you are installing some antivirus software, updating some antivirus software, and running the antivirus software. You are installing the CC cleaner and running the CC cleaner. This is what the active host-based assessment is about. Okay, so you are just running the security check in an independent system using a command line is the host-based assessment. Next is internal assessment. Internal assessment is nothing but in an organization infrastructure. Okay, so here we are talking on the infrastructure within an organization and checking whether is there any vulnerability or not that can be exploited. That we call it as an internal assessment. Okay, next is external assessment. External assessment in the sense you will be seeing the vulnerability, checking the vulnerability from the point of hacker. If an hacker is attacking from the outside world, he is trying to attack the organization, what are the methodology he will use? Is there any vulnerabilities? If he is coming through this point, whether any vulnerabilities is present. If he is coming through this point, whether any vulnerability is present. Like that, performing the assessment as an hacker from the external world, we call it as an external assessment. Next is application assessment. So application assessment is just only for specific application. You are taking the web server, checking whether any misconfiguration is there, anything else is there, or it is outdated. Like that, you are checking any specific application. You take a database server or any server or any single application and check only whether anything specific to the application is missing out for vulnerabilities. you process only that you call it as an application assessment. Next is network assessment. Network assessment from the network point of view. So it will give you all the network security attacks that can occur within the organization. Finally, wireless network assessment. Whenever you are talking on network assessment, here we are talking with respect to general thing, mostly with respect to the network connected. Here we are purposely talking only on the wireless network. That's all. These two are the same, but like this covers the generic thing, whereas this is specific only for the wireless network. Okay, that is the these are the types of the assessment. Okay, so when you are conducting the assessment, how will you conduct the assessment? What are the steps? So first thing, when we are conducting the assessment, the particular professional, vulnerability assessment professional should be having a very clear knowledge about the network, what type of network it is, whether in which topology it is connected, and what are the resources connected to the network. So that should be, he should be having a very good knowledge about that. So that comes the first step. Okay, first step is defining and classifying network or system resources. That will be the first step. Second step is he will also understand whether the resources connected to the network is of high importance or not important. If it is attacked, what kind of security level I can give it for the resource, because you cannot give high security level for everyone. Okay, if you feel this particular resource is very, very important, which can be easily attacked, then you give more security. Otherwise, you need not give security at all. So like that, they have been perform an analysis strategy, whether that resources is important or not important. If it is important, what is the level of importance we can give for the resources? That is the second step. Third step is, what are the threats that may happen to the resource? Whether it is a computer resources, yes, what are the threats that may happen? No, if it is an intrusion detection system, whether any threat is there. So depending upon the resource, the threat may be different. So they will be identifying what are the threat for the respective resources. After identifying that one, they will develop a strategy to deal with all these problems. Okay, so they are understanding the network, they are understanding the resources connected to the network, and they will understand what is the level of importance given to each and every resources. They will understand what is the threat that may happen to this particular resources. Finally, if there is any threat, how can we overcome the threat? That is what they will define some strategy for that. And finally, after an attack occurs, how to minimize the consequence of the attack. So these are all the things they will do, the steps they will do for vulnerability analysis. Okay, so like they will be using, what are the things they will be using? Vulnerability assessment tool, and they will be checking for misconfiguration web server. This will be the first step. Misconfiguration will be the first step. Misconfigured web servers, mail servers, firewalls, and etc. And they'll be checking for the web pages. Search for the web for more postings about the company's vulnerabilities, and they will also check for the underground websites for more postings of the company's vulnerabilities. So these are all the job they will be doing. Okay, and vulnerability assessment is done in 3 phases: pre-assessment phase, post-assessment phase, and assessment phase. In pre-assessment phase, they will be just defining what is the scope of assessment. What are I'm going? If I say I'm doing vulnerability assessment, first of all, I should tell my team that what are the things I'm going to check. That is the scope of assessment. Okay, whether I'm checking the entire network, or I'm restricting only to this particular area, or I'm restricting only to this particular resources. That will be the pre-assessment phase. So that is the scope of assessment. And then I need to have a proper planning, scheduling, coordination, and logistics for performing my assessment. That is comes under the pre-assessment phase. And then I will be identifying and ranking the critical asset to the organization. So these are all comes under the pre-assessment phase. So before ever I'm starting my assessment, I have to understand, I will define myself to what extent I'm going to start my assessment, and what is my plan, schedule, and for completing the assessment, and then what is the critical asset that I have to check. Okay. So this is with respect to pre-assessment phase. During assessment phase, I will be checking the network architecture. I will be evaluating for all the threat environment, carrying out penetration testing, examine and evaluate physical security. Evaluating physical security in the sense whether all my system username, password is protected, and even the lock. Okay, key and lock is in the protected way. Everything I will check. Okay, perform physical asset analysis. Physical asset analysis. And that is my hub is there, my firewall is being protected with a proper lock and key. Everything I have to check. Okay, and observes policies and procedure. Conducts an impact analysis. Performs a risk characterization. So these are all the things which a vulnerability assessment professional will do during the assessment phase. They will be starting with the network architecture, identify what are the threats environment, and carrying out the penetration testing. They'll be testing not only for software security, also for physical security, and analyze the physical security, check for other policies and procedures are being maintained, and what is the impact of impact of analysis, and they will be finally performing the risk characterization, that is risk level high, low, or medium. Okay, so I will stop with this for today's class. So there is only 3-4 titles to complete this vulnerability. Tomorrow we will complete this and we will go for the penetration testing. Okay, any doubts till this? Any doubt till this?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, so if you do not have any doubts and if you are having other class, you can move on. Those who are having doubts can stay back, and I have uploaded your assignment number 1 marks. There are 2 students yet to give assignment number 1. Okay, they have to give assignment number 1 during the CAT 1 only, CAT 2 only. Okay, I think Tanay is here today.
Yes, ma'am.
Tanay, you have to give assignment number 1. Okay. Before CAT 2 exam, you give assignment number 1. Okay. And Sai Ganapati. Sai Ganapati. Sai Ganapati is absent. Very good. Oh, and Jami Yashwant.
Yes, ma'am.
You are doing project with Sai Ganapati, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you tell to him. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
You text him and you tell him that he has to give assignment number 2. Assignment number 1, and you tell all the details related to assignment number 2, whatever I have told.
Okay, ma'am.
So, okay. So those who are not having any doubts in anything can leave. Others, for another 5 to 10 minutes, I'll be here. You can ask me doubts.
Thank you, ma'am.
What should I do for first assignment?
What? For assignment number 1?
Yes, ma'am. How should I submit it?
Not submitting. Assignment number 1 is quiz. It's a quiz for everyone. I have to create a quiz question for you separately. Okay. So quiz is the assignment number 1. 20 questions for 10 minutes and 10 marks. Okay. So I'll give you quiz questions. Before CAT 2, you remind me one day before CAT 2, I'll give you quiz questions. Okay.
Ma'am, can we leave?
Yeah, those who are not having doubt can leave. And I want these students, Sai, Deepak, Satish, Varshit, Maheshwar Reddy, Sai Kiran, anyone is here? Sai, Deepak, Satish, Varshit.
Hello, yes, ma'am.
Have you given review 1?
Yes, ma'am, we gave now.
The last day, your batch is that last day, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, on after completion of class one day.
Okay. Okay then. Okay then. You can leave.
Okay, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, regarding DA1, ma'am,
Uh,
you said no, ma'am, in the class for default passwords there will be a threat, no, ma'am.
yes.
In the DA1, I got the same question, ma'am, but I posted the question in the chat box, ma'am. See, ma'am.
Question in the chat box. Slowly, read out the question. Yes.
From the options below, which of them is not threat to information security? The answer was given as unchanged default password you have given, ma'am.
Which is not a threat.
Yes, ma'am. But you said the default password is threat, no, ma'am.
Like it is related to information security. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What you are having now, see, the given choice, out of the given choice,
Okay, ma'am.
okay, information leakage is 100% if you are disclosing the information, it's a security information. Okay, already I have mentioned it is a security information security only I have mentioned.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so if it is a security information, then you have you are not supposed to leak. Okay,
Yes,
so if you are
yes.
leaking, disclosing, then it is a threat. Eavesdropping, somebody is giving some malicious code or anything. It's a obviously your information is no more secured. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Third thing, disaster. Disaster, we cannot do anything.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
our information is lost. So fourth thing is unchanged default password. So unchanged default password is having the minimum level of when comparatively when all the three. Okay, so
Okay, ma'am.
when compared, because if I say none of the above, you should have ticked none of the above. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But I mentioned out of this, which is having a not a threat. So default password is not a threat, accordingly.
Ma'am, but disaster also means
No, disaster is
security.
coming. No, disaster in the sense, disaster for the information security. For the information. Like disaster.
Not like a natural disaster.
No, it's a
floods or
natural
something.
disaster only. It is a natural, it may be natural disaster or it may be human made disaster. But I have not explicitly mentioned. Okay, you are thinking even it is a flood affecting my complete system.
Yes, ma'am.
Your information is lost.
Ma'am, it will be lost, ma'am, but it won't be leaked, no, ma'am. Means it won't be reached to the other person.
Not like that. It is a threat to the security. Like in the sense, threat, in the sense something I am not able to protect. Threat is like that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Whichever it cannot be protected is a threat.
Yes, ma'am. But it will default password also. It will be having some.
Yes, default. Yes, unchanged default password. What will happen? Trial and error method. You can easily identify. You can go and take this particular information. That is also a threat. But out of this four, which is more affecting, already disaster has happened. You see, here you have to assume that what I have given is already something had happened. Okay,
Yes.
you have leaked. See, it is something like you should not leak, but you have leaked. So it's a threat. Like that only you have to understand. The question is like that. From the options given below, the question says compulsorily out of 4, 1 you are going to pick. Okay. So out of this 4, which is the threat, which is not a threat. Okay. So already you have disclosed. You, as such, you should not disclose, but already you have disclosed. Like that only you are understanding, right? So already this has taken place. So that is a threat.
Yes, ma'am.
But the password again, somebody unchanged default password, it may be a threat, may not be a threat, because he will go with trial and error. Like if he is a lucky person, he can easily identify the password. If he is an unlucky person, he will not get the password right.
Yes, ma'am.
Like that. Okay, but disaster has already happened. Eavesdropping in the sense some attack is already happened. You have already disclosed. So all these comes under compulsory threat. Okay. Whereas this one is may be there, may not be there. Provided I did not change my password. My friend is coming and trying for all combinations of the password. If he is lucky, he will. It's a threat. If he is not lucky, it is not a threat.
Yes, ma'am. But first of all, he will try the default password only, maximum.
Yes, yes, maximum default password only. But default password need not be like what to say. He need not find the default password every time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
See,
But for the open source,
if you say for example, you are accessing your internet account. 3 times if you give wrong password, it is locking your account, right?
yes, ma'am.
Some default password. If you are saving only default password, 3 times it will lock. Like that, no. If you are having information security, you have to protect your security with certain things. But you are leaving that with as it is. Now somebody is coming and trying possibilities for trial and error. Luckily, he will get. Unluckily, he will never get that. It's not. It cannot be considered as a threat under that particular case. Okay, so here if I have mentioned, see, in the fourth unchanged default password, if I have mentioned unauthorized access, understand the difference. Okay, understand the difference in this question. Unchanged default password, I have mentioned. If I mention unauthorized access now, under that case, already some person has cracked my password and is having access to my system. That is a threat. Can you understand? That is a threat. But unchanging the password is not a threat. If the person is lucky, he will get. Can you understand? That is the difference. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.